Hello, welcome to Northeast Rails. So today I'm going to do a conversion of a Via Rail F40PH. I have a whole bunch of these actually, kind of like them. And it goes a little bit unusually. So it starts out going in one direction, and then a bunch of stuff happens and goes in another direction. And well, stick around to the end of the video and you can see what ends up happening with it. But it's a lot of fun and might be a bit of a long one because there's a bit of a few things that have to change in the middle of it. And well, you'll see. And it has glass lights on it. I read the manual, something that guys don't normally do. Yeah. This one's making some funny noises. Alright, so I thought we'd do another DCC conversion. This one is a Walthers. It's a Via Rail F40PH. It's pretty much in mint condition. I'm not even sure if this has ever even been run. I have it in the box. It still has all the parts on it, and most of the like the rails and stuff haven't even been put on it yet. So it's in mint condition. So I have some fun with this one. The only thing I've done so far, just to save a little bit of time on screen here, is I took off the front coupler and the back coupler. And when doing so, unfortunately, I also took off that lower piece that's in there. We'll see that in a second. When reassembling this, we'll figure out a way together to put that in there so that it might not come off so easily in the future. It basically wasn't glued in or anything. So we'll also, it looks like, do some lighting upgrades on this. Closer to the center of the screen. This is the old incandescent lights. You know what? They may still be okay. When we get that moved over to the other board, let's see what it looks like. I might be okay with keeping those. Anyway, for the conversion, so this is an interesting board. So you can see that it's going to save some time. I'm going to reuse that. So what my plan on doing is removing the motor and the lights from this board, but still having the track power it, and then I'm going to use these two pins for the pickup power for the, I'll show you what I'm using. I'm going to use a Digitrax SDN 147PS, and the reason I want it's four outputs on the controller, on the decoder, is that may eventually want to do a ditch light upgrade on this. It's going to be a fair amount of work because just the way that this is designed, it's not really made for the way that the Canadian F40PHs have the ditch lights. It'd be real fun to try to route that around. Anyway, that's a problem for another day. The good thing about this is that with the N, it's the same output as the HO, but it has a nice small little speaker that should fit easily on the underside of this board without getting in the way. I also have, I've done this on another one, by the way, a little, not the same design as this, but very similar to it, and everything just fits in here really well. It's a tight space, right? But this board, I don't know how well you can see this in the camera. I'm trying to move it around here the best that I can. There's a fair amount of space though below it. Rather than trying to cram everything on top of this, between there and the shell, I'm going to pull the screws off this. This is the first time, by the way, I've tried doing this. Pull the screws off and put the decoder and the speaker under the board. There's lots of space right there that I can put the decoder. It's an N decoder, so it's not very wide, so it should fit easily between here and here. These little pillars or whatever, the posts that go up. And the speaker should fit right over here, close to the front, so it should have should sound really good. And if I don't really like this specific speaker on it, it can easily be replaced anyway. I have lots of speakers. Something like that's obviously not going to fit in there. That's for like a P42 or something, or an FP45. So where do I start with this? So what to do first? So should I just pull it off first and then see what happens? I can't tell if these are actually soldered on there or if they're just using these fancy push things. I know Athearn does this too with the they like push things in to clip it. I think I've actually seen Kato might actually do this as well, and I guess it must have some advantages for time and stuff, but I'm not really fond of it because then it can easily come apart. And if something like these do vibrate, I know that in the past I said, if you got vibration issues, you got bigger. These do vibrate off. They're just, it's not a good idea. It really should be a solid connection. Either things should be either soldered or heat shrinked always for those connections. It's not good to just clip things onto one another. Alright, so this is my first time doing this. I have no idea what this is going to look like when I pop this off. I have no idea how these things are held on, but let's... Can I even get that up? What's going on here? What's the hold up? Oh, I see. Right, okay, so, oh yeah, look at the space that's underneath there. That's just for the directional LED lighting. Oh, that's gonna get bypassed anyway. So if I pull this off for the lights, what do we have here? And it's soldered underneath there. Oh, that's interesting. And why do they bother putting these things on? Must be to protect against touching the edges. Okay, well, it is what it is. Let's pull this off here. Okay, since that's not needed. And same thing here. And we're gonna fire up the old soldering iron and pull some of this stuff off. No, not that, but that, and that, and these two. So let's, yeah, let's get that fired up and see what, how easily that'll come off. Okie dokie, let's get that a little more centered on the screen. And I did end up putting two of those screws back in there. It's easier to just have it on there and not moving around. I was originally going to put it in my clamps, but since there's this is soldered onto, I only just need to undo the a couple of them. I didn't see any point in doing that. So let's just get to work here. Pull the lights off. Okay, now we can remove that out of the way. And how convenient that I now have nice long wires for the motor. Great. So before basically ignoring the lighting for this, I'm going to do it right off of the decoder. So okay, what's next then? I guess we'll just try doing a quick wiring job on this to see what the lights look like and see what how well the motor works, and if that looks good, we'll take that back off, spin around underneath it. Like this should be, if this works the way I think that it will, this might be one of the fastest decoder conversions I've ever done. So let's yeah, let's do that. We're right back. Right, okay, so here we go. Just gonna move that out of the way. We'll do some, gonna need my little magnifying glass thingy so I can see what I'm doing, and cut some of these. Okay, that's prepped, so I'll move that out of the way. Then run it through. I think I might have to do that, because these wires are going to be nice and short on there. Black will run up and go on there. Yeah, I'm going to tape it on first and then come back to that. It's just 3M Super Duty two-sided tape, nothing special here. It doesn't. Fantastic. Okay, well, plan B, I guess. Put it right back on top. You're seeing this in real time, the same amount of time that same time that I'm seeing it. So, oops. And the lights. All right, now I guess I can put that back down just to make it easier. Temporarily, I'm eventually going to want to probably move that speaker somewhere. Well, maybe it'll all fit on the same side. We'll see. My idea originally was, of course, to put it on the underside to get it out of the way. Will that fit? It's just going to do a quick alignment thing here. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's lots of space. It should be fine. Okay. So now what next? Back to soldering. We'll put this. So we got it's engineer side, brakeman side, conductor side, I guess, depending on the way you word it. This is still attached, still attached, still attached. So I'm going to solder this on. Then I can solder these to connect those. And we could be at the point to test minimal viable product. And then we'll worry about the lights. I always try the motors and stuff first to make sure everything's going in the right direction. And then if everything looks good, then I continue on. So let's do that. I'll fire the soldering iron back up. Okay, I'm just going to tape everything else back temporarily, just so it doesn't accidentally move or get in the way or something touch that I don't want to touch. So just fire that there. That back there. And I'll do the same with those motor wires for now. There's lots of solder on there. I'm going to turn this sideways so I can see what I'm doing. Less danger, but more frustration. Yeah, that's terrible. Let's throw a little more solder on that. Do a better job of that. Talk about minimal viable product. I think that Walthers used minimal amount of solder they could possibly get away with. All right. Now what? All right, they're on. Seem okay. Push that down. Way. Okay. Next will be motor. shorty wires. My air purifier is cranking up. It doesn't like what I'm doing. All right. Doesn't like the old solder. Solder. How to tell if you're North American versus British. British friend of mine made fun of me once there. I said, of course, solder, the way that we typically say it around here, and strong point to point out, no, solder. Okay, whatever, you know. Perhaps they say it differently on the West Coast than the way we say it here in the East. It's gonna sada like your mother and your father. Right. Okay. So, just gonna close off those light wires so nothing shorts while testing this, and then give her a quick test, see how things go. Right, okay, so how close is that to the center of the camera? Close enough. Right, Bachmann EZ track, EZ command center, and because it makes everything easy. The GoPro picking that up? It's definitely working. Yeah, might need a marginally bigger speaker than that. Alright, well, it is what it is. Let's see if she moves. And it does. Backwards. Yeah, looks good. Except for the dirty wheels or dirty track. Alright. That tiny little cap keeps her going pretty good. Alright. On to the next phase, lighting. So, how are we going to do this? So, get a common positive. That is not long enough to reach this and that. Oh, it's very close. Maybe it can. Alright. Let's just spin things around here a bit for a minute. That out of the way. In fact, let's just get this whole thing out of the way. No reason for it to still be here. Right. Okay. So, I don't want to just use the small wire to that. I'm going to need a little longer. Let's see if I can just... No, of course not. That would have just made things too easy, wouldn't it? It's funny how these always seem to be broken when I don't want them to come out of there, and then when I... Oh, I see, this has been glued. Well, bye-bye glue. Oh, that's really in there. I'm never going to get that back in, am I? Can I like pop that a little open? Oh, I'm sure that'll be painful to get back in. We'll figure that out when we get to it. That's one problem at a time. All right. I think this is one of those rare times where I'm actually going to solder that on. Which means I'm going to need some flux. All right. Okay, so where do we leave this off before my GoPro battery died? So, I off camera then, since that happened, I just put these together, put a little bit of flux on 3 of them, and I am going to get the soldering iron, which should be ready to go by now. Alright, that's good enough. Now I'll straighten up, get some heat shrink tubing on there. The lights back in the engine, do a quick test, and if everything looks good, we can shrink the heat shrink. Get the wires to the right length and get her all sealed back up, pretty much. This may be a real quick one. Oh, I wonder if that's going to be foreshadowing. I wonder what's going to go wrong. Sure, something will go wrong. Alright, this is one bigger. The color coordination of the heat shrink here has nothing to do with like plus and minus and stuff like that. The red one is just one size bigger than the black that I'm using, and it's apparently not big enough, so to go one bigger, which is yellow. Okay, good. Now get the lights back in here, and no, not that, and this. Right. Now let's see if this ends up being as frustrating as I thought it would be. Hopefully you can see that in the camera. Oh, I knew it would be a pain. Can I do this without breaking that ladder? Whew. Definitely takes a lot of patience sometimes to get these things done. Seems like it should be easy. Yeah, ends up not being easy. Alright, that. Oh, you know what? Before I put that other one in, I'm just going to do a quick connection here on them and test them, make sure everything looks okay, and then it works okay. And if that looks good, then I'll do the heat shrink, and then I will cut them to the correct length. So that's first step would be checking to make sure that everything works. Always check your work first. Otherwise you could end up reassembling everything and then having to do stuff over. If this doesn't work, I'm going to have to put LEDs in, which is fine. Okay. Good enough to test. Where's my test truck? Right. You'll have to shut some lights off here just so we see what's going on. Pop this on. Pop this on. Plug in the controller. Well, that light is on, but I can't see it because it's too bright. shut this off. No dice. Interesting. Okay. So that didn't work. So what now? Try an LED. Oh, I hope I don't have to drill that out. I might. Yeah, I really didn't want to have to do that. I wonder why that's not working. Okay, just to test what's going on, in parallel to that other LED, or incandescent light, I put on an LED to see if it'll light. Yeah, let's see what happens. 3, function, 10, or 0. No. No dice. Okay, well. No further ahead than I was a couple minutes ago. Okay, me sit for a minute and think and figure out what's going on. Okay, I pushed this over that way a little more. All right. So I removed these incandescent lights. I'm pretty sure they're incandescent completely, and put on these LEDs that do have resistors on them. So it should work. All right, let's plug it in. Number 3, 10. Nothing. In fact, I smell burning electronics. Outstanding. Well, I don't know what's going on. It doesn't seem to be that. Resistors aren't hot. This isn't hot. I remember back at the start of the video where I said this was going to be easy or short or something. Well, that did turn out to be foreshadowing. I think I'd know better by now, but for whatever reason, I still don't learn. All right, back to more investigation. I'll come back to this in a minute. Like, the wires are attached. There's nothing loose. But it just doesn't work. Yeah, and the function's working. The lights just aren't. I just don't get it. Try a different LED. Okay, different LED attached directly to white and blue, and yellow is just taped off to the side, and nothing. I just don't get it. What else could it possibly be other than some fluke? A bad decoder? Is it possible? I guess the only way to find out is to pull this off and try a different decoder. Okay, well, I guess that's the next step. Okay, well, I'm gonna, desolder those motor connections right quick, and then I'm gonna replace that SDN147. It seems like a waste here. I'm gonna replace that with SDXH167D. So this is an HO size one, size decoder, much bigger speaker, should still fit. I am disappointed though in that didn't work. But okay, well, we'll figure it out. Try this, the other decoder, and see where it goes, I guess. All right, I'll just do a quick test. I'm going to just solder on what's necessary, basically just the pickups, and attach the motors and attach the lights. Nothing's getting heat shrunk or soldered other than these two pieces here. I'm going to go back to the 3mm LEDs because these are the ones that I want to put in there. That other tower LED was just for a test. What am I missing here? Motor control. Alright. So let's pop that on a track. I'm not going to bother with attaching it to the engine or anything yet. Just see if it powers up and what it does what it's supposed to do. Let's get her on here and see what happens. Now that's what it's supposed to do. Backwards. Oh, look at that. Forward. Oh. There's a whole bunch of weird stuff going on. That's fantastic. Fantastic. Something's probably touching somewhere. Anyway, it's a lot louder. That looks like it'll work. So I'm going to go with that. And now I'll get everything properly attached. And what next? Get these LEDs into the shell, which will be fun, and basically get this back to the point that we were at, and then plug up the rest of these wires so that nothing shorts. And let me get to that point and I will be right back. Okay, so some time has passed between where the video just cut and right now, and if you're got a keen eye on this, you can see that this is actually a different F40PH than the one we were looking at or just working on. Some things have transpired since that point. So if we go back a bit, the decoder that didn't work with the lights from Digitrax there, I sent that off. They sent me back supposedly a brand new decoder. The lights still didn't work with it, and I'm like, well, I don't really want to do that. So then I was looking at putting that the DH series, the bigger one, on there, but that I didn't feel like wasting a big sound decoder on that, especially because it only had 2 lights basically I planned on using with it. I'm not going to waste a 7 or 8 function decoder on just 2 lights. It's a waste of it. So I took that out, put a regular, like a TCS decoder in it. I can't remember if I put this in the video or not, depending on where that ended. Put that decoder in it, and just a 4-function decoder, and away that goes, and that's fine. And then the sound decoder that Digitrax sent me for the replacement went into a different engine that actually doesn't have any lights in it at all. It's being used for something you'll see a little bit later in the future in another video. So where's this now? So this one now, which I have a whole bunch of these F40PH units, and just pick the next one down the line, and we'll just we'll finish with that one. So this is pretty much at the point where things left off in the other video, with a couple minor other changes. For one thing, this is, I believe, just a DH127. Yes, it is. So it's a 2-function decoder. It has 2 lights in it for front and back, and that's it. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm now going to use this, or going to attempt to use this, we'll get to that in a minute, as the sound for it. So I'm going to desolder. We can get this working the way I want it to. I'm going to desolder this, and then put these 2 connections for the track pickup onto this, because this is all that needs. And we're going to take this off and put the speaker underneath here. It looks like it should fit. We'll find out, but it looks like it should fit. So we're going to put that underneath there, tape it up to the top of it so it'll stay in place. It should clear everything. You know, we'll find out. And then put this all back together and see what see where it goes. So let's do that now. So I'm going to have to heat up the soldering iron, and I will just tape this stuff back so it stays out of the way. Right. Okay, so next, soldering iron. Get that heated up. I don't like the connection on that other side, so I'm going to re-solder that a bit. Okay, that's better. All right. So I was debating on attaching this first, unscrewing this, attaching it first, and then running it through the side, or soldering it first and then attaching it. And I think I'm going to go with, well, obviously know what we're going to do with now. I'm going to go with the latter. So it's soldered now. I will lift this up and get some tape and put it on underneath. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix that. That was expected to happen at some point. Oh, that was unexpected though. Didn't realize that was there. All right, well, you have to work around that a bit. Think this one through a little bit more. Okay, off camera, I just cut that diode off. It's just used for LEDs, so it's no longer of any real value. Now, where did I put that tape? Here. So, try to get this lined up the best that I can. It's going to be right roughly there's where I'm going to want it. Close as possible to here so it doesn't interfere with this moving. Right, okay, that's off. So then there's nothing along the edge of that circuit board that should rub. So flip this back over. Very careful with what's going on here. Black. What is this red thing? That's the motor. So I want that over there. Blue one for the motor I want here. Gonna have to solder that back on. That will go right there. Okay, just push all this stuff off to the side for a moment. I don't know why they're using that thing if it was soldered in the first place. That's clearly soldered. Alright, well, whatever. Since that one's going to break off, maybe I should fix that one too while I'm at it. Okay, well, we're at a point where we can do a new quick test. Ignore the lighting for now. And technically it should go at least forwards, backwards, and we should have sound. So let's give that a shot and see what happens. Okay, plugging in. Dirty track aside, it seems to be working. Backwards. Horn. Bell. Right. Okay. Beautiful. So that all works. All right. Next step is lighting. So we'll move this aside. I'm going to set this aside for now and come back to that, and we'll work on the inside of this. All right, where are we with this? Let's see. So I got some 3mm LEDs. I know that these will fit because I did, I think it was 6422 or 6402, whatever one it was that we were working on at the start of this video. And they fit fine, so it does take a little bit of prodding to get it in there. At least it did on the other one. I assume it will here too. Yeah, okay. It's in. Same thing here. Hopefully the camera will pick this up. Come on, baby. Get in there. Get in there without breaking the ladders or anything else. All right, good. Very good. Now, do this in a way it's not going to cause issues with the wiring. I want that to fall down like that when it's pressed. Get it there. So I'm going to cut it right around there. And that will allow me enough slack to put the heat shrink on it, and still enough, short enough to be able to push it in a bit. And the same thing here. Going to cut these, since there's lots of extra wire, you can cut these a little shorter. Just need them to be long enough that I can pull it out so my heat gun doesn't hit the sides. So there. And probably somewhere around here. Right, okay, now, gonna need my glasses for this one, see what I'm doing. Right, okay, now what? Now we can put these together. Get some heat shrink. No, let's just pop that out. Pop them both out. Be easier to put these back together since they seem to be kind of loose anyway. Put them back together afterwards. Not that big of a deal. Right, okay, now what? Alrighty, so blue is common. This was intended to be the back one, so that will be yellow. And then front. Right, so heat gun those. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So now let's get that back into this. All right. Once again, front LED. Watch these LEDs be dead. We'll see. And then the rear. Sorry, I can only do this from this angle for some bizarre reason. Right, okay, so that, this, now we will Kapton tape that all down, that whole mess, excluding those. That, and if we pop this now in. Right, all right, now let's retest it. Let's see if the lights all work, make sure everything moves. And then if that's all good, then we can screw everything back together, put the couplers on, away she goes. Okay, I'm gonna shut the lights, some of the lights off for this, so we can see the front and back. Front light is on. Sound is working. Rear light is on. Sound isn't great, but it's working. Cool. Okay, well, that is loud. All right, well, it is what it is. The interesting thing about this now, hopefully, since I tried using one of these before, since they're both right now on code 3, so end locomotive 3, if I change, well, I guess we'll try this out on the main track, but if I change this to what I'm planning on doing, which is 6450, it should change both of them, so the sound thing and the motor controller both go to the new address. That's what's happened in the past. You know, I have a lot of bad luck. Maybe that's not going to work this time, but in the past it has worked. Let's I'm just going to put this back together off camera, just the screws and the couplers, and we'll take it out to the main track and see what happens. All right, here we are on the track. Trying to get that lined up a little bit better there. You're going to be seeing this the same time as me for the first time. I have no idea what's going to happen. Let's flip the power on here. We'll flip this to DCC. We'll turn it on. And nothing happens. Well, okay, that's interesting. I was expecting at least some kind of sound. Well, that's working, but the directional stuff is not. Huh. Okay, well, something was stuck, obviously. It's working now. Let's see if backwards. Yeah, that's working. Forwards. Yeah. Okay. Light is on, light off, light on. Yeah, it's working. Okay, so stuff is basically working. Now I want to change this over. We're looking at here on number 3. Let's try changing this to 6450 and see what happens here. Hopefully my audio is coming out okay. I'm using a DJI mic, so hopefully it's better audio than before. So let's flip this to, and put this on here. Let's see what I'm doing. Program, locomotive 3. We want it to be 6450, 6450. Okay, we'll flip locomotive to 6450. And if I go forward, sound and motion are working. Cool. Back up. Whoa! I want to set the acceleration numbers there. And horn still works. It sure does. Bell still works. Other stuff I'm sure still works too. Light on. Light. Hello. There we go. Light's working. Looks good. Let's take it, pop it off the tripod here for a minute. Yeah, front light's working good. We'll flip it to the back light. I'll come around the back. Yeah, that's kind of neat. Back light. Yeah, it's working. Looks good. Pretty happy with the way that turned out. Maybe we'll do a quick run around the track with this and see how things go. The sound effects are kind of interesting. This is a sound only decoder that I popped on there. It's actually made by MRC. Pretty interesting. A lot of their decoder stuff for DCC isn't really all that good. This one seems okay. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button there. Please like this video and comment on it. If you don't like the if you don't like the video for whatever reason and you want to leave a thumbs down, please let me know why in the comment section. Negative feedback is just as important as positive feedback. If you don't like something about the videos or the channel, I need to know what's different. I'm kind of new to this. If you don't like something, let me know. Maybe I can change it up. And thanks for watching.